live in the city, and it's so pretty. Welcome back to another episode of the worst show ever, because I forgot to push that button. Whatever we do, change is coming. It's coming with the implosion of our Imperium, and it's coming with the rapid degradation of the ecosystem of itself. And there is nothing we can do to stop it. It says, how will we cope with this change? Rationally, will we learn to speak to the world with new humility and create infrastructure of our own? Or will we continue to live in an illusion and wait of ourselves reality? That sounds lame. Welcome back. Alright, I guess I should get this crap started. Bump, 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 bump. Hey, camera, you're a little... Yeah, just move the whole thing. Fine. There we go. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of the Best Worst Show. That's right. Best Worst Show. Number one Best Worst Show. No other Best Worst Show out there, and no other Best Worst Show better than me. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of the Griftcast IRL, the show designed to extract all the monies out of your pockets for me sitting in front of my computer and achieving my goals of becoming the world's greatest grifter. Nay, an ultra grifter. Like all those great people that we've talked about on the show, discussing all of their exploits and abilities of taking money out of other people's pockets and us being like, wow, that's so crazy. Anyways, that's actually Matt's saying, I might be a psychopath. I don't know. We could at least think that here we are today in the here and now, once again, co-creating in a space of whatever this is, and I hope you're having a great day. Hello to Yobi. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. What's up to Sewer Guy Rob? Always nice to have you here. Always nice to be seeing that money or that green text on your name, because that just tells me that he's still subscribed after all these years. Thank you very much for that. What's up to Mitch? That guy, he's apparently really popular with some interesting people on the internet or whatever. He's a cool guy. What's up, bitch? Nice to see you with us. And then we got CV, of course. G-Ma, or great-grandma herself, with her tank pads and whatever else that she does over there with her tractors and stuff nowadays. I don't know. How you doing? I'm doing all right. Sorry I missed you for a couple of days. I've been kind of furiously planning all kinds of things, and there's never enough hours in the day when you're trying to get stuff done, and it's like, we're kind of on the wire, at least a little bit, so, I'm trying to make sure I get shit done for my job, right, or my job, which is so far so good. I mean, I don't know, it seems like I'm getting a lot of stuff approved, although I got to change up some things because after utilizing some tools that I had at my disposal, I realized that I could do way much better, right? I could do way much better, and I missed a few things, but that's okay. We can get that stuff done, and that's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a lot of good work. I feel everything's finally, at least a little bit secure. Grok's been helping out a lot with you know, coming up with new strategies on handling this stuff. Now I'm using CLIs and stuff and submit a huge ass block list and all this other bullshit. But you know what? It feels good because it seems like I got like most of the hard work done in the beginning, and now I'm in the middle work. So it's all like on this part, it's like there's a lot of middle work to do. There's always a lot of middle work to do, but it takes long enough that it can't be considered light work, and it's not hard enough for it to be considered hard. So it ends up right in the middle, but there's always a lot of it. You got the stuff that takes you lots of time, and then you got the stuff that's in like the middle. They're like you know, kind of like has a bigger space, and then there's like the easy stuff, right? The easy stuff, easy stuff. Anyways, thanks for the happy birthdays. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I feel like the way we gotta get it done, we're getting it done, and everything's gonna come together, and people are just gonna have to get with the program or suck it. Although I got a whole bunch of new networking equipment that I have to install by myself, and then pray to God and Allah and Yahweh and freaking, like anybody who's gonna listen to just hope that, all the cabling's still gonna be good afterwards. But and then some nice things happen though. I got people hitting me up about things, and I heard that I might be able to get that internet up, and maybe spend the same amount. I don't know. I used to do this kind of work all the time, and when people would get their internet connections, I'd be the guy that showed up to make sure that it was the right speeds and shit. Sometimes installing it, run the fiber and shit. And I was like, yo, like, this doesn't make sense. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, it's just like we're paying a lot of money and we're not getting a lot of pipe. Like, I feel like we could get residential in here and it would be cheaper. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to do that, but like, can you find somebody? Help me find somebody. And yeah, and then I had to hit up the old boys over at Firesite because I've been looking for web design people to do shit. And all the people out here suck. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, it's not really that much to say, Like I got a level of service that I'm trying to get to. We gotta look good for the big boys and shit like that. And right now we are not cutting it by any means necessary. And I've talked to some people around the area, and I mean, they're either they're either dumb, they either think I'm dumb, they're dumb, or they're just wildly out of line with whatever like people are asking for. I don't know. So I hit them up and I was like, "Yo, this is what I got going on. It's gonna be a little bit of a project. Some stages. Let me know if you're interested in helping out. That'd be great. We got money. Yeah, feels good to spend money. It's already probably going to end up spending more than my salary on fixing everything, but that's okay. You know, they want to do it. If they're trying to get this shit done that fast, they're trying to get this certification done this fast. I don't really see a way around it. You know what I'm saying? It's like so you want to do this and you want to make sure everything's all set up and done. And we have how long? 3 months. 2 months. Like, well, I guess the only words that I need to be hearing out of your mouths is yes, I'll sign the check. And that's how it's gonna end up having to be. Like I already picked out everything that we're gonna have to do. The price tag isn't too bad, but like I'm gonna need like two more me's. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need like two more people, or I need to grow two more arms like Goro to do shit. Although that would be kind of sick, dude. Like 2 more arms. What do you think? Would you guys still talk to me if I had 2 more arms, or nah? Or would I be that weird guy? When people start watching my stream because I'd be that weird dude with the 2 arms. It's probably how it would go. I don't know. I don't really try to think about that kind of stuff anymore. What I try to think about is just, the future and making shit happen, which is where I'm at, I guess. Yeah, that's where I've been, dude. I've been making that shit happen. Although, for real, dog, it's gonna be crazy. We have to install like fucking hundreds of install a shitload of keypads, fucking a bunch of cameras, a bunch of switches and shit. And I got that shit all mapped out and stuff, and I feel like I'm, doing pretty good. Still gonna be a lot of freaking work, man. I have to take like a whole weekend to do one part, and then wait a week, and then do the next part the next weekend, and then I gotta definitely have help the second weekend, and then the third weekend would probably be whatever we didn't get to on the second weekend, finishing up on the third weekend. So it's like boom, 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 boom. It's gotta happen fast. Nah, we ain't getting that. We ain't getting that shit. You know what I mean? And that's a huge problem. So I hope we're all ready. I hope we're all willing. These people. So far, seems like everybody's up to speed. Just gotta pull out that checkbook. And hey, I'm trying to make it as cheap as possible. I mean, I can make it cheaper, but then it's gonna be shitty, and I don't want it to be shitty. I want it to look good. But anyways, this isn't a show about my life all the time. Just always like to keep you guys at least updated, abreast, and informed about things that are going on, which seem pretty good. I mean, stuff seems pretty good to me. Everybody else is looking at me with like wide eyes, like, you're not sweating this at all. And I'm just like, nah, because I'm gonna end up having to do all this shit anyway. So might as well get it done and not sweat about it. Just slowly but surely get it all done. Then once it's all done, everybody could be like, wow, we actually did it. That's crazy. Be like, I know that's crazy. Anyways, yeah, it's always a team effort. There's no I in team. There's no I in asshole either, by the way. Just letting you know. So, what's today's show about? Well, we got some links. We got some stuff up here that I pulled up. Stuff about new planes that are being made. 6th-generation fighters. Oh boy, sounds really interesting. Looks really cool. We also have that's basically it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Middle East is popping off again. I feel like Israel is trying to blow up the entire Middle East and fight everybody as usual. So yeah, that whole thing's popping off. It looks like we're going to be having to worry about a whole lot of weirdness coming forward. And what's up, Kriska? Welcome to the show. It feels like there's a lot going on. I mean, I pulled it up over here on my internets, right? And I got a few things. They're talking about Pope Francis being discharged from the hospital. What? Apparently, that's like big top news on ground news, the thing that I accidentally paid for again. So now I'm going to have to use it for another fucking year. We got that world news. Talk about how Israel is striking Lebanon and just cracking shit off again, dude. Bombing Gaza, bombing the West Bank, bombing Lebanon, just fighting everybody. They're like, we got Big Daddy America on our backs, dude. Big Daddy America's gonna fuck you up. Yep, that's what's going on there. Really, really, really igniting geopolitical tensions out there. Seems real nice for every one of us. Not. And then there's just a few other things that people have talked about. I think I saw that there was some kind of another mass shooting over there in Las Cruces, Mexico. We got some shit with Trump. Always shit with Trump. I mean, goddamn. Everybody loving shit with Trump. Senator Sanders and Senator AOC are apparently campaigning together. The Sanders AOC crowd, dude. Next thing coming up, you're going to be having Big Titty AOC and old ass Bernie Sanders. And then, bam! You got fucking President AOC. Bartender to president. What did you think? What do you think? You think that's just gonna happen? I think it can happen. I don't know. I think it could happen. I tell you, there's some news out there that will look at whatever the viewer submissions are, because there's a lot of viewer submissions, but this one was a pretty big one to me. New jet? What? A new jet? Excuse me? I wasn't ready for this shit, but here we go. We're just gonna cut into
here
Trump
for a reason today.
This is Donald Trump explaining that we have a brand new air fighter that is apparently being built and not actually done yet, or maybe it is, or maybe they've been testing it for the last 5 years, and all that weird, crazy shit that you've been seeing in the space or whatever. You're like, what the fuck is that, dude? We ain't got planes that can do that. Nah, motherfucker, it's us.
That is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to announce that at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first sixth-generation fighter jet. Number sixth
generation fighter jet.
Nothing in the world comes even close to it.
We haven't even gotten this fifth generation warfare. We haven't even out of that yet.
Title. And it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have,
from speed to maneuverability to big,
in the works for a long period of time.
The big wieners.
After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force is going to be awarding the contract for the next generation air dominance platform to Boeing. As you know, was highly competed for. There was a lot of competition.
Boeing.
And
Boeing.
It's been going on for a long time.
Wait, hold. They awarded the contract to Boeing? Boeing? Hasn't Boeing been having some problems with some aircraft lately? Aircraft issues? Maybe? Yeah. How bad's Boeing's 2024 so far? Yeah, did they have like a bunch of fucking problems with their regular airplanes that were out there in service, like doors flying off and shit like that? Like, didn't they have to like shut down a whole bunch of planes? But that's fine. Let's go ahead and give them the ability to fucking fly the big new air dominance platform. Yeah, hasn't Boeing haven't planes been falling out of the sky, and then Trump's coming up like, yeah, we got the sixth generation fighter, bitch. I've been keeping up on all of this stuff, and I've been to a lot of hangars and stuff, and I've seen some things or whatever. And I mean, the thing is really fucking cool, like, and it looks dope as hell, but like, those guys are pretty afraid to fly it.
But this plane is produced numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
Numbers that no one's ever seen.
The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them. And it's not even close. This is a next level.
Not even close.
Level 5 is good.
Next
this is
level
6, they say. The F-47 is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth technology.
State-of-the-art stealth.
Virtually unseeable.
Unseeable.
And unprecedented power. It's got the most power of any jet of its kind ever made. Maneuverability, likewise, is there's never been anything like it, despite the power and speed. Its speed is top. It's over 2, which is something that you don't hear very often.
Mach 2?
America's enemies will never see it coming. Hopefully we won't have to use it for that purpose, but you have to have it. And if it ever happens, they won't know what the hell hit them. A new fleet of these magnificent planes will be built in the air during my administration over the next couple of years. It's ready to go. They've already built much of what has to be built in terms of production, including the sheds. will ensure that the USA continues to dominate the skies. We've given an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price because it would give way to some of the technology and some of the size of the plane, good-sized plane. This contract also represents a historic investment in our defense industrial base, helping to...
So your guy, Rob, you're right. Boeing's planes do fall apart. Yep. And then we have Boeing with the spaceman issue, as Blacksmith said, because wasn't it their capsule that had a little bit of a problem? Yeah, we are getting a little Dark Star vibes. I do remember lots of planes falling out of the sky. Maybe they weren't all Boeing, but, you gotta think about that. Mm-hmm. This whole thing sounds pretty crazy and pretty legendary, but the plane has been seen. People have taken pictures of it and posted it before. So, like, nobody knew what it was called, but it's been flying around for quite some time. And you got to think that this plane is 47, right? X, or it's not, it's a F-47, right? An F-47, but, wasn't there an X-37 plane that was out there not that long ago that people were taking a look at? Specifically, the X-37B. And isn't it kind of strange how a lot of these planes that end up experimental with the X designation, their numbers? So, well, we were looking at the F-35. Before that, it was basically an X what? Something of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And when we were looking at the X-37, it was a space plane. Space plane. X-37B was a reusable unmanned space plane. And this is a 47. So, like, does that son of a bitch go into space? I think that son of a bitch goes into space. Mach 2, I mean, think about this. X-15. This son of a bitch was the first son of a bitch that ever went into space, so we know that they can put shit into space. Experimental high-speed rocket plane or whatever. But yeah, this thing went into space. Space, low Earth orbit, whatever. But it had to have a sealed ablative coating and external fuel tanks. But it made it. And everything that went into this plane goes into this, or came up into this, and Boeing's the same person that makes the X-37, so, like, is that a fucking space jet, son? Is that a space jet? Because, they did have an X-47B, right? An unmanned cargo aerial vehicle, that was part of a DARPA program, and that was, like, in 2011, 2012, and that was the version of it that was unmanned, right? And it was made by Northrop Grumman. So if you think about that, we're basically looking at most likely some sort of amalgamation in between all of these fucking planes. And that's basically telling me that we might be looking like a space plane. Yep. X is space, F is fighter, B is bomber. True. But they've gotten all the way down to the fact that, I mean, what would be the sixth generation? Because fifth generation fighters were the ones that were already flying fast as fuck and then be able to go high as fuck. But now we're talking about sixth generation, and I mean, space. That thing's gonna be able to fly all the way up to the top into space and then come down like a fucking bat out of hell, drop the shit, and be like a fucking out of there, and nobody's ever gonna fucking see it. Because it's basically going fucking woo! And it's invisible to radar. That's crazy. You gotta think about that. That's crazy, bro.
To keep America at the cutting edge of aerospace and technology. Our allies are calling constantly. They want to buy them also, and certain
Well,
allies
we
will
want some of your
be
new
selling
planes.
perhaps
Don't
toned
sell
down
those fucking
versions.
things to
We'd
Israel,
like to tone them down
you
about
son of a
10%,
bitch.
which probably makes sense because someday maybe they're not our allies, right?
Exactly.
But I would like to ask Secretary
Yeah,
Hegseth,
don't give
who's
them to
doing a
Israel,
fantastic job.
motherfucker.
He's
Who do you
really,
think tried to
really been
assassinate
very
you?
inspiring in so many ways. And I must say that before he speaks, we have had record people wanting to join our military in the last 2.5 months, literally since this, I think probably since the election, November 5th, but especially since we came to office and since I announced Pete. He's young, he's smart, he's strong, he loves it.
Yeah, we need a sixth-generation space fighter so we can fight the fucking bugs!
Wanting to join our military. Now, if you go back...
Nah, he just wants sixth-generation fighters so that he can go defend Israel because he turned the Pentagon into Israel's bitchagon. Dude, I remember when the F-22 was the YF-22 in a video game. Oh, dude, I remember when the F-22 came out, bro. Or whatever. Because that's the plane that this thing is replacing. They're replacing the F-22 Raptor. Built by Lockheed Martin. Twin-engine, all-weather, supersonic stealth fighter aircraft. Ooh, baby. That's a scary bitch right there. I remember sitting at my uncle's house, and he had like a flight stick, and he had all of like the flying games. You know what I'm saying? He had F-15, F-16. He had the F-22 game. Yeah, like all of them. I'd sit there for fucking hours with the F-22 doing crazy shit, flying that shit backwards. How are you even doing that? This is supposed to be realistic. You're not supposed to be able to fly that thing backwards. Well, my engine's out, so if I flip around backwards and just keep coasting on it, kind of keep myself level or whatever, the change in air pressure directions will put out the engine, and then I can turn it back on and keep going. Yeah. Yeah! I'm invisible! But yeah, that's the plane that they're replacing. And I mean, yeah, it was first flown in 1997, and it descended from the Lockheed YF-22, right? And they've been out there for a while, right? Like, we've been flying these suckers for a while. These suckers are bad mama jamas. Big baby jamas. And that's what those are replacing. So it's got to be a real badass plane if it's supposed to be
you had
putting up
record numbers of people
those
not
kinds of
wanting
numbers.
to join the military.
Going Mach 2.
Record
Yeah, it goes
numbers
Mach
of
2.
people wanting to be in
It goes
our military.
faster than Mach 2.
And
okay.
That's a great honor. That shows you we're really on the right track. So, Pete, maybe say a few words.
Sure.
Please.
Well, Mr. President, this is a big day. This is a big day for our warfighters. This is a big day for our country, a big day in the world. The name of this program is the Next Generation of Air Dominance. And, Mr. President, because of your leadership, your clarity, America is going to have generations in the future of air dominance because of this sixth generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and to our enemies that we will be able to project power around the globe unimpeded for generations to come. Mr. President, this is a gift to my kids. And
this is a gift. Yeah, well, what about the A-10? You know what I'm saying? What are they replacing it with? It better not suck. It better be a gigantic fucking cannon with wings that literally flies through basically anything. It can fly with 1 fucking inch and sideways and still land with no wings. If it doesn't do that, I don't want it. Neither does anyone else that flies the A-10. They don't want it neither. Because you know what? They may hate that sucking son of a bitch. It might be a piece of shit. At least they know it's their piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? They know that shit inside and out. They'll know they'll be able to get home. God damn. But yeah, there it is, the artist rendering of it. You don't really get to see much of it. They don't show you much, but it pretty much looks almost exactly like it looks like a bigger F-47 with the slightly different front nose profile, but it obviously doesn't have any type of rear wings, and it's probably got some kind of vector thrust system that it's going to be utilizing if it doesn't have those black wings. And it's probably supposed to be like a stealth fighter, so you think it's probably got some crazy Ram airjet type shit. I don't know, man. Mm-mm-mm. The cornerstone of the NGAD family of systems, the F-47 is designed to integrate next-generation stealth, sensor fusion, long-range strike capabilities to counter the most sophisticated adversaries in contested environments. And it's going to be the crown jewel of the next generation Air Force family of systems. Oh, next generation air dominance. Over the past 5 years, in strong partnership with the Air Force, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, X-Blades, has been laying the foundation for the F-47. These experimental aircraft have flown hundreds of hours, advancing stealth, range, and autonomous systems while refining operational concepts. Cool! So yeah, just imagine one of those things flying around. Kratos, Aerospace. Is it Aerospace? Yeah, it's Aerospace. Yeah, so like those things are basically going to be flying around with fucking wingmen. Yeah, with these things. They're going to be flying around with these things.
A simulator to this aircraft that we can fly right alongside.
It was this moment in the history of aviation that has never happened before.
As a test pilot, I'm naturally skeptical of all new technology.
It's a very messy, ugly, complicated, confusing endeavor.
Let's go test.
On test day, there's nowhere busier than mission control.
What we're doing is going to change air power.
Launch, launch, launch. The idea of robots that could kill people, being able to do that without supervision, deeply concerning.
Human beings are always going to have a role in overseeing it.
I think everything's at stake.
It's time to go behind the wings. Above the white sandy beaches of Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, a jet screams by, but there's no pilot. In fact, there's not even a cockpit. This is the XQ-58. It's an uncrewed tactical aircraft using artificial intelligence and autonomy that could revolutionize our air battlefield.
Yeah, that's basically what they got. So we got fucking drones, and we got planes that got drone wingmen, and they've been testing them for a while, and now they're going to unleash them. So you got to think, like, each of those drones got 10 different missiles on it, and then the drone itself is a missile. And then it's supposed to fly in formation with one of those new F-47 planes. So, and then the F-47 plane's supposed to have a shitload of armament on it as well. So if you really think about it, I don't know. If anybody's going to be coming up after us, they're going to get their asses stomped into the ground. Into the fucking ground. I don't know though. Let's refresh the page. Let's see if there's anything new on the actual Wikipedia page. Because that's where you get a lot of this stuff from about it being like what it's supposed to be replacing and who's going to be making it. But yeah, apparently it was a toss-up between Lockheed Martin and Boeing, and somehow Boeing inched them out. They must have put it up for a cheaper price or something like that. But they said that the program has been flying X-planes of this particular variety since 2020, although nobody's really, I guess, put up any pictures or realize what it is because there ain't no pictures of it anywhere, dude. Went to college at White-Patterson Air Force Base in the 90s, saw a lot of cool stuff. Stealth, F-16, crash Harrier jet along the highway. Yeah, dude, crash Harrier jets are dope. Those things are dangerous as fuck. They're still cool, though. Yep. Nothing about it, dude. Nothing. You know, there's nothing about it. And even if you go leak photo, I mean, nobody has it, right? leak footage. Can't see it. Doesn't count. It's Rick Astley. What's this? Ooh. Ooh. Never understood it. See, that looks like FAXX concept right there. FAXX concept. Ooh, maybe we should look at that. FAXX concept. Oh. That's what it's supposed to look like. There you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. What's up, Teddy? Nice to see you, my dude. But yeah, there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like right there. Boeing unveils it. This is from back in 2013. It was a concept back then. But pretty much that's what it's going to look like, probably. Probably what it looks like. Can't imagine it's going to look too much different from that. Because there's a lot of these things out there. And obviously, the F-35 doesn't look like that at all. See that? Got the big front with the nacelles on the back, pushing out the back. No fucking back wings or anything like that with some front fins for stability. I bet you anything that's what it looks like. Like I said, this is from back in like 2013. But they're not gonna change shit very much. There's another one. Yep. There's another one. Looks like a fucking laser, dude. Yeah, dude. Navy issued a formal request for information of the FAXX. It was called the Air Superiority Fighter with multi-role capabilities. And it was supposed to eventually supersede the AE-F-18 and the Super Hornet and the EA-18 Growler aircrafts in the 2030s, complementing the F-35C Lightning II and the U-class unmanned aircrafts. Primary missions are air combat, air-to-air, ground attack, blah, 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 blah. There you go, right there. That's what it looks like, right there. There you go. Very easy. Something like this. Probably with the wings that can move. The wings in the front probably move up and down and forward and back. But the back wings, hell, they have the aileroners, but it's just basically two big nacelles, something like that. That's what it looks like. And sure, refueling can affect the final configuration. I mean, look at that thing. This is dead on, bro. They're like, yeah, we unveiled our super secret fucking aircraft. Look. Yeah, see? Look, if you look at it, it's got the things. There's the front wings. There's a little lip in the back right there. Here, let's see. Open image. Enhance. Look at this thing. See? Got the big thing here. Goes back. You got the winglet. And then you got the big wing. And when you go look at all the FAX concepts, you got the winglet and then the big wing with no back wing with the front pointies. There it is, right there. Woo! I mean, they've been working on this plane for a long time. That shit goes into space. Here's another one. Navy lifts the veil on the FAX concept design. Illustration shows a Navy aviation vision document for different kinds of remote carriers. Huh. Wait a minute. Look at this. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it definitely looks pretty fucking cool. I like it. I want to fly one. I can't wait for like, the F-37 game or whatever. It just kind of makes me wonder, like, what crazy videos have come out or crazy movies have come out in the last little bit that have this thing. Boeing concept on sixth generation fighter. What is this from 2014? Here's the Boeing concept of the sixth generation fighter. That one doesn't have the front little wingies. Kind of crazy. But nobody's even bringing any of that shit up. Kind of makes you wonder. Like, okay, so they got the contract and they're going to be building one of these fucking crazy things. I mean, I guess that's a really good birthday present, is like a brand new jet or whatever, but if I don't get to fly it, then, I mean, is it really that cool? Pete Hegseth going to let me fly one of his F-47s? Probably not. Huh. Oh, they made a fucking video, dude. Introducing the sixth generation fighter. Yep, a Boeing rendition of the notorious sixth generation fighter concept. There you go, right there. Woo! That shit, look at that goes hard, bro. It's like a little fucking space plane. That shit goes hard AF, bro. It's basically a man drone. Of course, Boeing stock is way up this week. Since pausing NGAD, USAF has continued to fund both Boeing and Lockheed teams in case the project's clear to move forward. Huh. Let's see. Advanced Composite Fabrication Center, MESA. Fabrication purpose-built classified facility to produce advanced components for future combat aircrafts. So they're going to be building them in St. Louis and Mesa, Arizona. Very, very interesting indeed. We're going to be building jets, bitch. We building jets, bitches! Yeah, I don't know, man. That's actually pretty cool. I'm excited to see what kind of damage these things are going to be doing over at Gaza, dude. They're probably going to be blowing everybody up with those fucking things. Everybody's going to be dying. Everyone. Just imagine when the AI takes over or whatever and starts murdering everybody with their bombs and shit. Hell yeah, bro. Tell me about the F-47. Wait, let's talk to Grok real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna talk to Grok. Let's ask Grok about it. Just go like this. Tell me about the F-47 plane and how it is similar to the FAXX plane that was being tested a while back. Wow. Well, I didn't mean to put the deep search on, but I did. Yeah, if it can make itself appear as other aircraft, that's pretty wild. That would be pretty wild. Oh, wow. Grok just came through with it. Grok already got me, dude. I bet you only find that thing when it's on the ground. You can only find that thing when it's on the ground. If it turns off its transponder. Jesus Christ, man. Rock, what the hell? Lock it up. I thought I put you on short and concise. That is not short and concise. Key points. Okay, let's take a listen.
Key points. Research suggests the F-47 plane, or Boeing F-47, is a sixth-generation fighter for the Air Force, with advanced stealth and range, expected by decade's end. It seems likely that the F/A-XX plane refers to the Boeing F/A-XX, a Navy sixth-generation fighter for carrier operations, still in proposal stage. The evidence leans toward both sharing advanced stealth, range, and integration with uncrewed systems, but differing in land-based versus carrier use. Overview. The F-47 plane, known as the Boeing F-47, is an upcoming sixth-generation air superiority fighter for the U.S. Air Force, designed to succeed the F-22 Raptor with advanced capabilities. The F/A-XX plane likely refers to the Boeing F/A-XX, a proposed sixth-generation fighter for the U.S. Navy, intended for carrier operations to replace the F divided by A-18E divided by F Super Hornet. Both share similarities in technology and design, but their operational environments differ. Similarities. Both the F-47 and F/A-XX are sixth-generation fighters developed by Boeing, featuring advanced stealth, longer range, and integration with uncrewed systems. They are part of efforts to maintain U.S. air dominance, with conceptual designs showing tailless configurations and blended wing fuselages. Differences. The F-47 is land-based, focusing on air superiority, while the F/A-XX is carrier-based, requiring adaptations like folding wings. The F-47 is further along, with plans to field by 2029, while the F/A-XX is still selecting a contractor. Survey note: detailed analysis of the F-47 and F/A-XX planes. This note provides a comprehensive analysis of the F-47 plane, identified as the Boeing F-47, and the F/A-XX.
I think that's really funny, Sewer Guy Rob. They put the good engineers on the fighter jet, and they put all the commercial aircraft in the hands of the DEI folk. Yeah, it's starting to look like that, because it doesn't make any sense how they got all this shit together. I mean, dude, it basically says that there's key differences in the different kinds of ships that we're looking at here, but do I really want to read all this shit?
F/A-XX plane, likely referring to the Boeing F/A-XX, based on information available as of March 22, 2025. The focus is on their characteristics, development status, and similarities, particularly in the context of their roles as sixth-generation fighters for the U.S. military. Background and context. The F-47 plane, officially designated as the Boeing F-47, is an upcoming sixth-generation air superiority fighter aircraft being developed by Boeing for the United States Air Force, USAF, under the Next Generation Air Dominance, NGAD, program. It is intended to be the successor to the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor and is part of a broader initiative to maintain air dominance against emerging threats, particularly from China. The USAF has been flying experimental X-planes since 2020, with plans to field the F-47 by the end of the decade, potentially by early 2029 during President Trump's administration. Boeing F-47 Wikipedia.
Wow. Interestingly enough, they are really similar. They were put out by the same people. It was probably just easier to get the 47 approved because it doesn't have to have the folding wing complements, but it's pretty much almost the dead ringer that these are going to be. Yes, and it's going to have a family of systems of uncrewed aircraft that are going to be flying with it. And it's got a tailless blended wing design that enhances its stealth into such a massive way. Aurora was said to fly at Mach 23. It was so fast that it couldn't be seen at radar, so I guess it vanished into hyperspace. No, dude, it's just because there's the Doppler effect on radar or whatever, so you can go faster than the radar wave. They can't see you, bitch. If you can fly faster than the radar wave, well, they won't see you. That's the other thing, is if you're flying as fast as the radar wave, it probably also can't see it because it can't get to you to reflect back off of it. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, apparently we don't have flying discs, so yeah, I don't know. Kind of seems like we might. Kind of seems like we might have some flying discs or something like that. If this is what they're showing us or whatever, and it was supposed to be a concept back in the day. Shit. But Boeing is building it? Alright, well, I'm not going to go ahead and go say anything about it, but.
So.
Whatever, dog. Whatever. I actually asked the same thing about JFK, right? I asked Grok about JFK. What evidence? Oh, I didn't actually write that. It just did that on its own. And then it came out with a bunch of stuff about JFK. And it was like, yeah, CIA was monitoring JFK. Yeah, the CIA plotted to kill Castro. We withheld information in the War Commission. And yeah, there was some other people that were looking into him. And then I was like, that's really interesting. What about Israel? Why did you leave that out? Yeah. Research suggests the CIA monitored the Harvey Oswald, including the contacts in Mexico City, but direct involvement in the assassination remains unproven. It seems likely that the CIA's plot against Fidel Castro could have helped motivate retaliation, potentially involving Oswald, through the evidence is circumstantial. The evidence leans towards the CIA withholding information from the Warren Commission, raising questions about transparency and possible cover-ups. The unexpected detail is that the Ruben Efron, the CIA with ties to Israel through residence in Jerusalem, monitored Oswald's mail before the assassination, adding complexity to the investigation. That seems like a whole lot of bullshit for you not talking about the brackets, bitch. Yeah, I guess they didn't OCR the handwriting that was on the documents. Yeah.
Oh, it is indeed happening. Who would have thought? This is truly an amazing time to be alive. Here you see one of the documents that Trump has released unredacted. It literally says, Israel is no good. Israel is behind the JFK assassination. And then here you have the documents that are showing that the CIA was okay with releasing everything, except every reference to Israel had to be removed. Trump did not remove it. He allowed it to be revealed to the whole world. This is the single greatest operation to expose the true nature of Israel. Did you know, by the way, that the Israeli Mossad is the #1 assassin in the entire world? Several books have been written about it, how the Israeli intelligence agency is responsible for most assassinations in the entire world. They are also responsible for sexually blackmailing politicians around the world. They are responsible for the most mind control in the entire world.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
Israel wages what is called irregular warfare. They don't have this huge army. They're a very tiny nation. So they have...
Oh. But yeah, it is kind of real. And it is true. There's a lot of documents in there. But any type of AI or OCR or anything seems to almost just go right off of it. But there is still summaries of key evidence that seem to associate it with it, complete with file references that really show that it was specifically a Jewish spy, Ruud Efron, that was, I don't know, almost like he was in charge of handling where this guy was at all times, meaning Oswald, where he was, monitored his mail, keeping tabs on him wherever he was going in it, withheld human involvement evidence from the Warren Commission. So there's a bunch of different documents. You can just go show it. And you'll even see Ruben Efron, new JFK documents revealed CIA assassin monitor was a Jewish spy. Huh. Yeah. And that was in Times of Israel is the one that talks about it. Jewish immigrant from Lithuania who lived in Jerusalem screened mail for a president's killer before assassination. Oh yeah, he was screening his mail. Sure, that's all he was doing. I'm sure that's all he was doing, wasn't it? I don't know. There's a lot of key citations that are seemingly missed about this whole entire thing, too, because all of the pieces are there except for the main accoutrement, and everybody can, I guess, celebrate Trump for releasing these documents at the same time. Isn't that what everybody's been saying about it for quite some time? Is that there was some kind of Jewish conspiracy that killed JFK because he was trying to stop them from getting the nuclear weapon? So they had him killed utilizing their people, the Mossad agents that they had implanted in the CIA, in a very similar situation that you would have seen if you like Marvel television shows. They have S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra. So the CIA would have been like S.H.I.E.L.D., and then the Hydra agents were like the Mossad agents embedding themselves inside the CIA to do their bidding so that they had plausible deniability in their actions, right? So everybody misdirects to the CIA without actually looking at who was really behind the whole situation. Very strange. Very strange. Very strange, too, to see how Grok is interpreting all of the information. And, I mean, even more so than withholding this information. And then years later, in like 1993, when the files were originally supposed to be declassified, when I believe it was Bill Clinton that was the one that was signing the stuff. What was going on? All right, you had that guy that was going through writing in pen to basically redact any information that, mentioned Israel in the situation. And that's where the difference comes from Trump, is that apparently he at least let that information come out unredacted. Does it really develop the conspiracy into a this is what was happening? But no, I think it pretty much gives us as much as we're going to be able to get out of that situation.
Have to resort to psychological warfare in order to achieve their goal for world domination. So what are they doing? One of their most effective, most used weapons against humanity is the accusation of anti-Semitism. Has it ever occurred to you that Israel, or the Jews for that matter, are the only group of people in the entire world that make laws in countries around the world, making it punishable by law, making it a criminal offense to talk about their criminal activities? They call it anti-Semitism. Israel is the center for pedophilia around the world. It's the only nation in the world where pedophiles who are legally prosecuted in their own country, they can flee from the law enforcement in their own nation, and they find safety in Israel. Israel,
there's really just not any type of benefit from going through it, but the more you learn about all of this stuff, and the more you start seeking into it, it starts to make a whole lot of sense what's really going on here. This is what people have been trying to expose for a long time in a myriad of terrible different ways, but it's like we're at this particular juncture where we got a president that's pretty much completely wrapped up in that whole entire situation. And doing as much as he possibly can to help that situation move forward. And that's bad. That's why I keep saying it's bad, right? And if we go back and look at the world news, who decided to end the ceasefire? Israel did. And now what's Israel doing? Well, they're back to just bombing the shit out of everybody. And who's backing them up? Trump is. And guess what? Who's left holding the bag? We are, right? So if Israel goes and does a bunch of shitty shit around the world, who's ultimately going to take the ire of all of it? And it's going to be us, right? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's almost like they want us to get attacked again, right? Because that's how all those people in the Middle East see it, is that, it's not just Israeli bombs that are hitting it. Those are U.S. bombs that are being given to Israel to make all those hits. So the whole war situation is just moving its way back up. Israel's going after Lebanon again in the worst violence in the ceasefire in November. And I mean, they had dozens of rocket launchers, or they said that they're taking out Hezbollah targets out there, but they're obviously hitting civilians and anyone else that is basically in the way. So it's no different than the type of tactics that they were utilizing in Gaza with people that had no weapons, but, we're supposed to all be cool with it, right? We're supposed to be just chill with it. Just new rocket fire. There you go. Some video right there from South Lebanon. Oh, Israel is bombing us again. Stay in your homes. Pretty big bomb crater. Yeah. Insane. Israel's military likes to release footage of all of their bombings and shit too. There you go. Yeah, I did actually see the pyramid news. We should talk about that. The halls of Amenti, or at least the entrance to the halls of Amenti, has been discovered. Maybe that's why Israel's getting real pissed. I don't know. Halls of Amenti. Good old halls of Amenti of the Emerald Tablet. Yes. Should read it. Yeah, we should read it. Halls of Amenti. What are they, Jewish lady? That's weird.
The halls of Amenti are a repository of knowledge where one finds answers to age-old questions as part of healing and understanding that reality is comprised of grids that create the illusion of reality for the human journey in time and emotion. In some ways, it is a healing tool to create clarity in this otherwise chaotic world. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Tablet 2, The Halls of Amenti. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth has always been one of the most popular files on Crystallinks. It seems to draw readers to it as if guided to a part of their greater destiny. It is an enigmatic group of files created to be interpreted by the reader based on their personal programming in the illusion of our reality. It is again a tool of healing and self-awareness about reality being an illusion set in linear time to experience emotions. Journey to the Halls of Amenti Initiation. Find a space that is comfortable for you. Prepare as you would for meditation. Relax. Clear your mind of life's chatter. As you listen to the music, visualize Thoth coming towards you. Strong emotions fill your body as he beckons you to follow him through the halls of Amenti. See yourself in a realm outside of physical illusion, a place once familiar, then forgotten. You walk with Thoth, stopping along the way to stare into what appears as mirrors, reflections in time of all that your soul has experienced. As you gaze at emotionally filled reveries, they begin to fade away, leaving you to continue walking until there's nowhere left to go. You have come to the place of understanding that it was all an illusion from the beginning, and you are about to be set free as the illusion ends. The 12 Pyramids of Thoth. Thoth. Ancient Egypt. Simulation theory. Social.
Oh, dude, somebody sent us money, bro. Teddy sent us $1.99 through the super chat. Time to replenish Lunchy's Angus beef fund. Angus beef for Lunchy. She actually got, what do you call that shit? Salmon. I might have listened to that before or whatever. You don't know what the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are? One of these ones actually talks about that whole shit. Last time I remember. Yeah. Right? What is it? One of them called the Halls of Amenti, tablet number 2, deep in the halls of Amenti. Let's listen to it.
Deep in Earth's heart lie the halls of Amenti, far neath the islands of sunken Atlantis, halls of the dead and halls of the living, bathed in the fire of the infinite all. Far in a past time, lost in the space-time, the children of light looked down on the world. Seeing the children of men in their bondage, bound by the force that came from beyond. Knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from the earth to the sun. Down they descended and created bodies, taking the semblance of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, we are they who were formed from the space dust, partaking of life.
Fuck, bitch.
Life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men. Then for a dwelling place, far neath the earth crust, blasted great spaces they by their power, spaces apart from the children of men. Surrounded them by forces and power, shielded from harm they the halls of the dead. Side by side then, placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above. Builded they then the halls of Amenti, that they might dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity's end. 32 were there of the children, sons of lights who had come among men, seeking to free from the bondage of darkness those who were bound by the force from beyond. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving backward the night. Placed in the center, a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving, filling with power all who came near it. Placed they around it thrones, 32, places for each of the children of light, placed so that they were bathed in the radiance, filled with the life from the eternal light. There time after time placed they their first created bodies so that they might be filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame forth on their bodies, quickening, awakening the spirit of life. There in the circle from eon to eon, sit the great masters, living a life not known among men. There in the halls of life they lie sleeping, free flows their soul through the bodies of men. Time after time, while their bodies lie sleeping, incarnate they in the bodies of men, teaching and guiding onward and upward, out of the darkness into the light. There in the hall of life, filled with their wisdom, known not to the races of man, living forever neath the cold fire of life, sit the children of light. Times there are when they awaken, come from the depths to be lights among men, infinite they among finite men. He who by progress has grown from the darkness, lifted himself from the night into light, free is he made of the halls of Amenti, free of the flower of light and of life. Guided he then, by wisdom and knowledge, passes from men, to the master of life. There he may dwell as one with the masters, free from the bonds of the darkness of night. Seated within the flower of radiance sit 7 lords from the spacetimes above us, helping and guiding through infinite wisdom, the pathway through time of the children of men. Mighty and strange, they, veiled with their power, silent, all-knowing, drawing the life force, different yet one with the children of men. Different, and yet one with the children of light. custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage, ready to loose when the light has been reached. First and most mighty, sits the veiled presence, Lord of Lords, the infinite nine, over the other from each the lords of the cycles. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, each with his mission, each with his powers, guiding, directing the destiny of man. There sit they, mighty and potent, free of all time and space. Not of this world they, yet akin to it, elder brothers they, of the children of men. Judging and weighing, they with their wisdom, watching the progress of light among men. There before them was I led by the dweller, watched him blend with One from above. Then from he came forth a voice saying, Great art thou, Thoth, among children of men. Free henceforth of the halls of Amenti, master of life among children of men. Taste not of death except as thou will it, drink thou of life to eternity's end, henceforth forever is life, thine for the taking. Henceforth is death at the call of thy hand. Dwell here or leave here when thou desireth, free is Amenti to the Son of Man. Take thou up life in what form thou desireth, child of the light that has grown among men. Choose thou thy work, for all should must labor, never be free from the pathway of light. One step thou hast gained on the long pathway upward, infinite now is the mountain of light. Each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain, all of thy progress but lengthens the goal. Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom, ever before thee recedes the goal. Free are ye made now of the halls of Amenti to walk hand in hand with the lords of the world, one in one purpose, working together, bring of light to the children of men. Then from his throne came one of the masters, taking my hand and leading me onward, through all the halls of the deep hidden land. Led he me through the halls of Amenti, showing the mysteries that are known not to man. Through the dark passage, downward he led me, into the hall where sight the dark death. Vast as space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness but yet filled with light. Before me arose a great throne of darkness, veiled on it sat a figure of night. Darker than darkness sat the great figure, dark with a darkness not of the night. Before it then paused the Master, speaking. The word that brings about life. Life.
You're probably wondering where I'm going to go. Nice to see you,
Life, saying, O, Master of darkness, guide of the way from life unto life, before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever with the power of night. Call not his flame to the darkness of night. Know him, and see him, one of our brothers, lifted from darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from its bondage, free let it flame through the darkness of night. Raised then the hand of the figure, forth came a flame that grew clear and bright. Rolled back swiftly the curtain of darkness, unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. Then grew in the great space before me, flame after flame, from the veil of the night. Uncounted millions leaped they before me, some flaming forth as flowers of fire. Others there were that shed a dim radiance, flowing but faintly from out of the night. Some there were that faded swiftly, others that grew from a small spark of light. Each surrounded by its dim veil of darkness, yet flaming with light that could never be quenched. Coming and going like fireflies in springtime, filled they with space with light and with life. Then spoke a voice, mighty and solemn, saying, These are lights that are souls among men, growing and fading, existing forever, changing yet living, through death into life. When they have bloomed into flower, reached the zenith of growth in their life, swiftly then send I my veil of darkness, shrouding and changing to new forms of life. Steadily upward throughout the ages, growing, expanding into yet another flame, lighting the darkness with yet greater power, quenched yet unquenched by the veil of the night. So grows the soul of man ever upward, quenched yet unquenched by the darkness of night. I, death, come, and yet I remain not, for life eternal exists in the all, only an obstacle, I in the pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward, flame forth and conquer the veil of the night. Then in the midst of the flames in the darkness grew there one that drove forth the night, flaming, expanding, ever brighter, until at last was nothing but light. Then spoke my guide, the voice of the Master, See your own soul as it grows in the light, free now forever from the Lord of the Night. Forward he led me through many great spaces filled with the mysteries of the children of light, mysteries that man may never yet know of until he, too, is a son of the light. Backward then he led me into the light of the hall of the light. Knelt I then before the great masters, lords of all from the cycles above. Spoke he then with words of great power, saying, Thou hast been made free of the halls of Amenti. Choose thou thy work among the children of men. Then spoke I, O, great master, let me be a teacher of men, leading then onward and upward until they, too, are lights among men, freed from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. Spoke to me then the voice, Go, as yet will. So be it decreed. Master are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom. Shine as a light among the children of men. Upward then, led me the dweller. Dwelt I again among children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom, son of the light, a fire among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record, guide shall it be to the children of men. Table of
Ah, yes, the very, very fabled House of Amenti from tablet number 2 of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Why listen to that whole thing before we get into it? For watch time, but at the same time, it feels almost necessary to play it. Because somebody found a massive underground structure beneath the Giza pyramids that sparked ancient energy conspiracy theories and all kinds of other stuff. But
on March 15th, 2025, a new study has been revealed to show massive pillars underneath the pyramid of Khafre in Egypt. What you are looking at is called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. This advanced tech reveals details of the undiscovered high-resolution internal structure of the Khafre pyramid. Near the base of the pyramid, 5 identical structures are seen, connected by geometric pathways. Inside each of these are 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. Below these 5 structures are 8 cylindrical structures which appear to be vertical wells, hollow inside, and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. These 8 vertically aligned cylindrical structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters where they all merge into 2 large cubic structures measuring approximately 80 meters per side. The entire structure extends approximately 2 kilometers beneath the surface and extends beneath all 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex.
Yeah, what?
Briefly summarized, these findings allowed us to construct a 3D model of the entire complex. The examination of dozens of tomographical images obtained from different angles using Capella space and Umbra radars enabled a 3D reconstruction of most of the objects inside the pyramid of Khafre. Below, we present some images from our 3D analysis. The analysis of the structures above Belzoni's chamber are intensely coloured spots which can be observed appearing in all tomographic images taken from different angles corresponding to the internal artificial structures. On the next page, it says that improvements of the signal-to-noise ratio revealing the internal structure of the 5 Zs, consisting of 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. So this is the raw pictures of the data that they used to create their model. And this is the model. So it reads the tomography with another cross-sectional line showing the presence of vertical structures. And if you think that was pretty mind-blowing, it then goes on to say, as observed in the 3D model, below the ground level, so ground zero of the main structure, vertically aligned cylindrical structures extend for hundreds of meters beneath the Giza Plateau. Notably, 8 of these structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, merging into 2 large cubic structures measuring approximately 80 meters per side. These features are illustrated in the topographical images and models presented. The paper then...
What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, just to put it into perspective, so like, yeah, 2 kilometers down into the ground under the pyramids of Giza, they found structures that go far as shit, that are almost bigger than the Burj, are actually probably bigger than the Burj Khalifa, going all the way down under the structures, basically like holding up the pyramids. But they have walkways going down them, and then they seem to end in some massive ass blocks that are probably from some civilization in a time immemorial. Yeah, dude. Science identifies the Great Pyramid as the real Noah's Ark. Yeah. There could be anything, dude. Yeah, the pillar structure does remind me of the Total Recall movie. Wait, let's see. Total Recall. Water pyramid structure. The Pyramid Mine. Oh, yeah. The Pyramid Mine. Made by Philip K. Dick. It even looks like a pyramid. But yeah, there's were the structures that were below it, right? Too bad we can't find like a big ass picture of it. What the hell? Large. That could be a big one. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, we probably haven't checked the credits on most of that stuff yet, but it looks like a Rust server under the pyramids. Yep. Who the fuck is he playing Rust, dude? I don't know. Kind of seems pretty crazy when you think about it. The fact that there's even anything down there, and people have, said that the pyramids are just really, really big obelisks. And I guess that kind of plays into the theory a little bit with the mega structures that we're looking at. Let's see what Alex Jones has for us.
I am struggling to express in words. Just
is. I don't want to put his ass on here. Get banned. Huh. Yeah.
Beneath the Khafre, the middle pyramid in Giza. I can't believe it myself, but I'm going to show you. There was a press release yesterday in Italy from Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga. They have written a paper which has got all the results of their synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography, which is a SAR radar scan. So basically using sound waves, I believe, they have scanned deep inside the middle pyramid and all underneath the structure. And then from the results, they are able to create like 3D models of what they think the sound waves are showing. And I can't talk, I'm so excited. So underneath the pyramid, they have found 8 huge cylindrical structures that are aligned perfectly in twos. And there's 4 pairs of them, and they go deep into the earth. So this is the 3D recreation of what the SAR scan shows. So you can see these 8 cylindrical pillars that go deep down, and then each pillar is surrounded by like a circular path or walkway or tube. Okay, this is not all. This is the beginning of it. Not only that, at the very base of the pyramid, like ground zero of the pyramid in the center, they have found 5 of these kind of stacked chambers, which are identical, look like they're kind of identical in size and form as the king's chamber of the Khufu pyramid, the one next door. So these are made with huge blocks of granite, red granite that was brought hundreds of miles away to the Giza plateau and stacked
by
very
giants.
Specifically in this sort of horizontal sandwich with a convex, oh my gosh, what's the roof? The roof's on the wonk, there we are. A vaulted ceiling, I'm way too excited. So 5 of them, 5 of these chambers just chilling in the middle of the pyramid, and then 8 cylindrical, massive underground structures that go deep down. And what is under that? I'll show you. So 4 of these cylindrical structures dropping deep down into the earth, they go into 2 square sort of chambers, 2 square empty spaces, which are 80 meters by 80 meters wall to wall. Each of these square chamber walls is 80 meters identically all the way around. Perfect square chambers with 4 cylindrical shafts going into them, or pillars, whatever they are, cylindrical structures with winding, coiled, maybe a walkway. We're not exactly sure. This is just what is showing up from the scans. Oh, and I'm sorry, did I tell you how deep these cylindrical
elevator
tubes
to Middle
go
Earth
under the pyramid? 648 meters. 648 meters.
That's pretty far.
Under the main pyramid. And then you hit the 80-meter 2 chambers, and then this is a map of the whole of the Giza plateau. So in the center, wait, I'm going to move. This here is the chambers that are in the center pyramid. The cylindrical chambers going down to whatever's going on 648 meters down here. There is evidence that there are more structures that go on for 2 kilometers underneath the Giza plateau, all interconnecting underneath all 3 pyramids. And apparently there's going to be more press releases. This is just the beginning. The team are going to do some more press. This is so very exciting. One thing I will say is that the idea that the pyramid was just a tomb for a dead pharaoh, why would you need 648 meters of perfectly aligned north to south pillars that go into an antechamber that then connect to an underground network of...
Well, the pyramids are built on sand, so they need a stable base.
Stuff! It's a bit excessive, isn't it? Just for a tomb. I'm going to be following this very closely.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I listen to that, because, well, did they just accidentally find the halls of Amenti, the halls of life, and the halls of death? Because there was talk that the entire pyramid complex has a gigantic underground city under it, right? I've heard conspiracy theories about that. Hell, I've even heard about a spaceship under the pyramids. Yes. But it was popularized by ancient aliens. Yes, the ancient pyramids were built by extraterrestrials that contained hidden chambers or technology of extraterrestrial origin. And some of those hidden chambers lead to tunnels that take us to advanced technology. Yes, hidden chamber at the Pyramid of Sun. Some believes they may have located an enormous hidden chamber more than 100 feet long. Well, they just kind of dwarfed that, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Pyramids built along the lost branch of the Nile. Also, I think that there was a thing No, wait, hold up. I think it was Spirit Science. Yeah. The idea of a spaceship under the pyramids. Battle of the Pyramids. Spirit Science history. Megastructure under the pyramid. So what exactly made Daniel think the pyramids were landing platforms? Pyramid power. Pretty sure it was from the Spirit Science movie that was talking about that.
On many of the image of the Great Pyramid. It has all of the little rooms and everything. However, this leaves us with a 24 square foot piece of the Great Pyramid that's missing. If what those Ascended Masters, we'll come back to this in a bit. Only about
I gotta find it. I know it was in here somewhere. No. God damn it. Spaceship under the pyramids. Spaceship under the pyramids. I know it's in here somewhere.
As passengers, though, and each and every being was working in unity to create a very powerful Merkaba around themselves and the ship. They returned to the Great Pyramid and landed the ship on top, forming the phi ratio with the pyramid. And then, it happened. The poles began to shift, and human consciousness began to plummet. Simultaneously, the electromagnetic and magnetic all life on the planet and each and every eye. Thoth first saw signs of the polar shift, they returned to the land of Chem and raised the warship into the sky. They went to Atlantis and picked up the Nakals. The Nakals weren't just passengers, though, and each and every being was working in unity to create a return pals, whatever race is here. They have been forced to leave for now, and we are once again safe and getting into the air, and manifested troubles with the Greys, a race of ETs who were slowly plotting takeover due to a previous scuffle we were having. A very pure woman in Peru made the ascension process into the Christ consciousness grid and found the ship. She tuned it to the frequency of the fourth dimension where she raised it through the earth and into the air, and manifested a situation for the Greys to leave. Within a very short time, the Greys began getting sick, and remained sick for as long as they stayed here. They have been forced to leave for now, and we are once again safe. The ship is a warship in that whatever race is trying to take over, the person will just think them away, think up a situation, and force them to leave. Returning to the events on Atlantis, after completing the complex in Egypt, Thoth and
Yeah. Pyramid under the... there's a place under the pyramid. There's a spaceship under the Sphinx. Very, very strange when you think about it. I mean, there's just two different things right there that kind of bring it up, and they're both from way different times. Like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are from like the 1940s, 1950s, right? And then you got the Spirit Side shit that came way after that, which is like an amalgamation of a bunch of different crap. You've had the ancient alien stuff that is talked about it as well, and now they're like, well, there's just a gigantic, pyramid structure down there or whatever, and, just don't worry about it. It's not important. It ain't important, guys. It's just, just a pyramid. Just, the Great Pyramid Wars.
March the 21st, 2025. Guys, I want to talk about this new finding under the pyramids in Giza. I think that I had a feeling, let me back up just a moment. I had a feeling that something in the back of my head was starting to ring a little bell. Some of you guys that have been with me maybe 12 years ago, I did a full series of the Anunnaki, the Sumerian text translations, and I used different translators. And I really like the flow of the Zachariah Sitchin series because it's starting to make more and more sense. And let me say this, guys, this discovery changes everything about religion and wars. That's why it's been put down. No one's wanted to talk about it. That's why the Bible was held in Latin for so long and all of the stuff changed. They did not want us to know what was about to come upon this earth and what would make men's hearts fail them. They did not want to admit that there are other powers much stronger than them, or at least as strong. And I've talked about the pantheon of gods, guys, that existed. God was in heaven. He said, let us, as he was in his council, make men in our image. Who do you think he was talking to? Now that we're getting physical evidence of what was talked about as the Pyramid Wars, both 1 and 2, it's starting to make sense. All of that is true, in my opinion, and now I think we have the proof. So what I want to do...
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when the guy BP Earthwatch starts bringing that shit back up again, too. Some people think he's a shill, but it seems pretty clear that, the Abrahamic faiths are coming to a shakening, and people are going to have to start either looking back farther into the Zoroastrianism or even farther back to start realizing it, because we're dealing with some big shit here, Why is the Middle East and Egypt and Jordan and all these other places going into turmoil? It's because big news they've been trying to hide this for years, trying to hide any of that stuff because they don't want people to know there's a whole ass city down there. They don't want people to know that it goes even farther down, and they just haven't been able to excavate that far yet. It changes the whole narrative of what's going on in Israel, too. All their shit kind of seems kind of retarded when you really think about it in the main history of things, because their plight was only one small plight of a very larger situation. And the evidence shows that, history goes much farther back than what most people are led to believe. And now, it's even more evidence to that, right? They've already been able to figure that shit out about what happened in Mexico City and all of the big ass pyramids that exist in, Mexico and South America, where they have the same kind of gigantic complexes that even go go just as far down into the ground. We're at the precipice of something crazy. And I guess, people are going to have to start making decisions on where they're going to want to go forward. You can still follow the one above all, but you just got to realize that all those other motherfuckers exist too. And are they demons? Are they angels? Or whatever the fuck they are? I don't know. Just pick your friends. Pick your friends right in that situation. Everybody's going to try to distract us with the Ark of the Covenant, the building of the third temple, bringing back one of the ancient evil gods, and then we're all going to have to fight them. Most of you guys are probably going to join with them, though, and that sucks. But don't worry, I'll be around. You'll see me out there fighting. It'll be fun. Either way, I feel like it's all playing into the same type of weird situation. We could go dominate on the 6th generation, but the war's being fought on so many different fronts at this particular juncture that I don't know, man. Seems like we're about ready to start seeing some big news coming forward, and hey, maybe them aliens are going to come back. I don't know. What I do know is that you better be ready. Just like I'm usually ready. We got a war on many fronts that's coming forward with us, but at least I did my show today, and I came forward and I hung out with you guys and talked about some crazy topics that disparately don't seem to make any sense, but you seem to think that they do make some big kind of sense. Oh, you want me to ask Grok about the big thing? Okay, we can ask Grok. Let's see. Do I ask Grok again? How do I ask him? Oh, yeah, I hit the wrong button. Gotta hit this button and H. Grok, tell me more about the Pyramid of Giza discovery, about the underground structures, and how it connects to the halls of Amenti. period, are we finally starting to see the unraveling of the Abrahamic construct? All right, Grok is thinking. Damn, he's thinking hard. I was incredibly vague. All right, here it goes. The halls of Amenti? God damn it. It definitely really went through all of it. Cool. Conclusion: the recent discoveries of the pyramid of Giza are exciting for archaeology, potentially revealing new insights into Egyptian civilization. However, they do not confirm the existence of halls of Amenti, likely Hall of Records, or have any direct impact on the Abrahamic construct. These findings are significant for understanding history, but the religious implications are minimal and speculative, with no credible evidence challenging Abrahamic narratives. Well, there you go. There you go. I'll have to read through that and see if there's anything. See if there's anything else, but I guess I'm done for the day. I gotta go get a drink and go kick it back, but it looks like good. I've been enjoying using my super grok. I've been enjoying doing my work. I've been enjoying having this time here with you guys today in the here and now. Appreciate the birthday well wishes and so on and so forth, but it's time for me to go. So thank you for being here today, and I hope you guys hit that like button, subscribe, share this with your friends. Either way, much love to you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, or day, or night, or whatever. And I guess till next time, my friends, adios, and may you find your way in the halls of Amenti. Bye-bye now. See you later. Ah, yes.